Kelly Parisian, and this is Timeless Beauty Tuesdays. Today I want to talk to you about aches and pains and inflammation versus chronic inflammation. The inflammation that causes our aches and pains can actually be a good thing. It's our body telling us we need to rest, ice, whatever the case may be. But chronic inflammation is entirely different. Chronic inflammation is caused by 4 factors. That's age, obesity, saturated fat, and sugar. And what's the big deal about chronic inflammation? Well, it's a precursor to pretty much every serious illness out there, such as heart disease, strokes, cancer, Alzheimer's, all are rooted with chronic inflammation. So this led me to do some research on chronic inflammation and my own aches and pains. And one of the things I really had to come to terms with is that I have a real sugar problem. I pretty much eat desserts, or did eat desserts up until a few months ago, every single night of the week, sometimes during the day too. So I decided I really need to take a hard look at that. And you know, it wasn't just the desserts, it was the hidden sugar. That's been the biggest eye-opener for me, is that I've recently learned, there's 4.2 grams of sugar for every teaspoon. It's equivalent to a teaspoon of sugar, basically. And some of the products that I love are loaded with sugar. This one, for example, this made me so sad. I love to have a bowl of yogurt in the morning with nuts and fruit in it. And, well, my favorite, Greek God yogurt, has 17 grams of sugar per half cup. Let me give you the visual on that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Way too much sugar. So I decided I'll go experiment and look at different yogurts to see if I could reduce the sugar. And while this one's pretty good, 7 grams and a half cup, it has stevia in it. And stevia left a bad aftertaste. So that one was ruled out. Siggi's wasn't bad, but I pretty much decided I'm going to stick with the Greek God Chobani because it has 4 grams of sugar. Yeah, it doesn't taste near as good as this one. But you know what I noticed since I've been watching my sugar intake? My aches and pains have been greatly reduced. I mean, by 90%. I was out in my garden this weekend and I woke up the next day pain-free, and that hasn't happened in a very long time. So anyway, what do you do? Any of you taking a look at your inflammation, and are you doing anything, any home remedies perhaps? I have a friend, Audrey, she has decided she makes her own ginger ale. Ginger is a wonderful anti-inflammatory. So that's what I'm looking for. What are you doing naturally to reduce your inflammation? Share it in the Facebook comments, and I'm going to post your answers in next week's Parisian's Pure Indulgence newsletter. So until we meet again, here's to timeless beauty. Bye-bye.